Breaking news! Eagle. The skies over Philadelphia are about to be sliced by sharp wings and hearts set ablaze. This isn't just a message, it's a war cry. We've reached that point in the offseason where the silence is nothing but the calm before the storm. But for those of us who breathe football, every second of waiting carries the weight of a final drive. Forget the calendar, because those with green blood feel time differently. Every heartbeat already echoes with the rhythm of the season, like the anthem blasting through Lincoln Financial Field, arms raised, eyes closed, and an entire city pulsing as one. We're not just waiting, we're locking in, we're marching, we're in battle mode. The team, more united than ever. The locker room, boiling with focus, fire, and a promise of redemption. The city, counting down like every traffic light turns green just for the Eagles. What's coming isn't just another season, it's a sacred mission. It's about legacy. It's about honor. It's about proving, once again, that when this fan base comes together, nothing is impossible. And if you wear this badge with pride, if you've screamed "Fly Eagles Fly" until your voice cracked, if you felt your chest burn in defeat and explode in victory, then you already know. It's time to gather the flock, pound your chest, and get ready, because the flight has already begun. Before I dive into the explosive updates from behind the scenes, and trust me, there's big stuff coming, smash that like button if you've carried this passion for nearly 2 decades or more. If you remember the Veterans Stadium, Randall Cunningham's magic, Brian Dawkins flying like a missile, or every tear shed on the road to that glorious 2017 Lombardi, you have my deepest respect. And if you can, drop a comment to strengthen the chain. Go Birds! This is a moment of unity and deep faith. Let's fly higher. Now hold on tight, because what comes next might just change everything. To the surprise of many Eagles fans, 2-time All-Pro cornerback Jaire Alexander is not coming to Philadelphia. That dream pairing? Off the table. Alexander has officially signed with the Baltimore Ravens on a 1-year deal worth $4 million, with incentives potentially raising it to $6 million. A shocking bargain when you consider the level of talent Alexander brings to the table. When healthy, he's a lockdown, top-tier defensive back. Some insiders believed his market value would hover around $16 million per year. Instead, the Ravens swooped in and made the steal of the offseason, adding him to an already loaded secondary. That decision has ripple effects, and Philadelphia is right in the current. Alexander was widely speculated to be on the Eagles' radar, and let's be honest, he made a lot of sense. The Birds have talent in the secondary, sure, but they also have question marks. So why did Howie Roseman stay on the sidelines instead of throwing money at a player of Alexander's caliber? It appears the answer is trust. Trust in the guys already wearing the wings. One name you need to get familiar with is Kelee Ringo. That's right, the 6 feet 2 inches, 207-pound corner with 4.3 speed has been quietly gaining momentum inside the building. And the message from both Howie Roseman and new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio is clear. They believe in Ringo. They're comfortable with his growth. They see a player who, although he used sparingly last season, showed enough to signal he might be ready to lock down an outside corner spot. You don't pass up on a bargain like Alexander unless you have serious faith in what you already have. So let's talk depth. As we look ahead to Week 1, against none other than the Dallas Cowboys, this is what the Eagles' cornerback room might look like. Rookie standout Quinyon Mitchell, the rising Kelee Ringo, and potentially Adoree Jackson, who will be competing for that second outside corner spot. In the slot, Cooper DeJean, the ultra-versatile defender out of Iowa who Fangio is known to be high on. But that's not all. Add in McWilliams, Eli Ricks, who played admirably as a rookie, and veteran Adoree Jackson, who has proven he can hold his own on the outside. And it's clear the Eagles aren't empty-handed here. They've got pieces, they've got youth, and most importantly, they've got speed and upside. Eli Ricks is tall, rangy, and displayed real promise in year 1. Jackson brings experience and reliability. And Quinyon Mitchell? Don't sleep on him. He's ready to prove why the Eagles made him a priority. So again, if you're wondering why the front office didn't make a harder push for Alexander, this is likely the answer. They believe in what's already in the nest. Now, could they still make a move? Absolutely. One name to watch closely is Asante Samuel Jr. Yes, that Asante Samuel's son. His NFL bloodlines speak for themselves, and Howie Roseman has a known affinity for players with that pedigree. But there's a catch. Health. Samuel Jr. is recovering from neck surgery after an injury-plagued 2024 season in which he played only 4 games. He dealt with recurring stinger-like symptoms, which led him to undergo surgery in April. Right now, he's waiting on medical clearance before deciding his next move. There's no denying his talent, though. Taken in the second round back in 2021 out of Florida State, a school with a rich tradition of elite corners, Samuel Jr. burst into the league with double-digit pass breakups in each of his first 3 seasons. Despite being under 6 feet tall, he has primarily played outside and more than held his own. If the medicals check out, don't be surprised if Roseman makes a move. But again, it all comes back to one central theme: belief in the young core. The Eagles staff has consistently mentioned Ringo as someone they are very excited about. He's only 22, younger than many players drafted this year. Coming out of Georgia, he had all the traits of a first-round pick but slipped to the 4th. That didn't stop Howie Roseman from trading up to get him. He's strong, he's long, he's physical, and he can flat out run. He's the kind of player who can match up with the elite wide receivers across the league. And if he takes the leap, the Eagles' cornerback room could be one of the most dangerous young units in the league. There's also the Christian Parker quote floating around from Super Bowl week. When asked who was next up in Philadelphia's secondary, the name he gave wasn't Mitchell. It wasn't DeJean. It was Khalil Ringo. So with Ringo, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and experienced backups like Adoree Jackson and Eli Ricks, the front office may be thinking, why fix what's not broken? But it's your turn now. Should the Eagles stay put with this young, talented cornerback group? Or should they explore adding a veteran like Asante Samuel Jr. once his health clears up? Let me know in the comments, should the Eagles make a move at cornerback? Or are you confident with the guys we've got? I'll break down more details and possible scenarios in part 2. So stay tuned, because the reality is, even if the Eagles decide to stay put, the pressure on this young cornerback group will be immense. Let's not forget, Philadelphia's pass defense in 2023 was, frankly, underwhelming. The secondary struggled down the stretch, and by the time the playoffs rolled around, the lack of consistency and communication in coverage was one of the glaring reasons this team didn't go deeper. That makes this year's defensive overhaul a gamble, but possibly a brilliant one. Now here's where things get even more interesting. There's a new sheriff in town on defense, and his name is Vic Fangio. If there's one thing Fangio is known for, it's maximizing defensive backs. He runs a system that asks a lot from his corners: disciplined eyes, zone awareness, and the ability to flip hips quickly in coverage. And let's be honest, that system only works if the talent is real. So what do the Eagles really have? Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie first-rounder out of Toledo, isn't just fast, he's elite. We're talking 4.3 speed, a natural feel for zone coverage, and a toughness that jumps off the film. In one-on-ones during the pre-draft process, he held his own against receivers from much bigger programs. But it's the tape against bigger schools, like his dominant showing versus Illinois, that turned heads in the Eagles' war room. He's expected to step into a starting role almost immediately, and while that's a lot to ask of a rookie, the staff clearly believes he's built for it. Then there's Cooper DeJean. This kid is a football savant. Whether it's safety, nickel, or even outside corner, he's been repping at multiple spots in OTAs. And Vic Fangio loves versatility. This is a guy who thrives on disguising coverages, creating confusion for quarterbacks. A player like DeJean who can move around pre-snap and still execute post-snap at a high level? That's gold in this system. Plus, he brings a physicality that fits the Philly mentality perfectly. But if there's a wild card in this whole equation, it's still Khalil Ringo.